Have you ever heard a strange noise that no one else can seem to hear? A high-pitched ringing, a buzzing, or a grinding sound. Now imagine that sound is so intense it causes nausea, vertigo, and debilitating headaches. This isn't the plot of a sci-fi movie, it's the real experience of dozens of US and Canadian diplomats, intelligence officers, and their families around the world. It's a baffling medical mystery known as Havana Syndrome. Our story begins in late 2016. In Havana, Cuba, American diplomats stationed at the embassy started reporting bizarre and distressing symptoms. They would be at home or in their hotel rooms, and suddenly, they'd be hit by an intense, focused sound or pressure. Some described it like a swarm of cicadas, others as a grinding metal noise. The sound seemed to come from a specific direction, and if they moved, it would stop. But the after effects were brutal. We're talking about severe headaches, dizziness, memory loss, and difficulty concentrating. Some even suffered what appeared to be mild traumatic brain injuries. Initially, no one knew what to make of it. Was it a new type of surveillance device gone wrong? A psychological operation? Or something else entirely? The US government was baffled. They evacuated affected personnel from Havana, and the embassy was downsized to a skeleton crew. But then, something even stranger happened. The cases started appearing outside of Cuba. First, it was a US consulate worker in Guangzhou, China in 2018. They reported the same constellation of symptoms. Strange auditory sensations followed by neurological issues. Then, the reports started trickling in from all over the globe. Diplomats and intelligence agents in Russia, Austria, Germany, Vietnam, and even right here in Washington, D.C. began experiencing these anomalous health incidents. The official government term for the phenomenon, the pattern was consistent. A sudden onset of strange sensations, often localized to a specific room or part of a building, followed by a range of persistent and sometimes career-ending neurological problems. This global spread turned a strange local incident into a full-blown international mystery. It was no longer just about Havana. It raised terrifying questions. Was this a coordinated attack? Was a foreign power targeting American officials with a new kind of weapon? And if so, what kind of weapon could possibly do this? The search for an answer has led investigators down a rabbit hole of cutting-edge and frankly scary technology. One of the leading theories revolves around directed energy weapons, specifically microwaves. The idea is that a high-powered microwave beam could be aimed at a target, causing a phenomenon known as the Frey Effect. This is where microwave energy creates a thermal expansion inside the skull, which the auditory nerve interprets as sound. This could explain why people heard a noise that wasn't actually there in the conventional sense. A 2020 report by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine concluded that directed pulsed radio frequency energy was the most plausible explanation for the symptoms. It's a chilling thought. A weapon that can cause brain injury from a distance without leaving any obvious trace. It's invisible, silent to anyone not in the direct path of the beam, and can pass through walls. The technology for such a device is believed to exist, though deploying it covertly would be incredibly difficult. However, the microwave theory isn't universally accepted. Some scientists are skeptical, pointing out the immense power that would be needed and the unlikelihood of it causing such specific injuries without also cooking the target's skin. The evidence is still inconclusive. Brain scans of some affected individuals have shown subtle but real differences in brain structure, similar to those seen in people who have suffered concussions. But these findings aren't consistent across all patients. This lack of a smoking gun has opened the door to other theories. Some have suggested that the culprit could be sonic weapons, using focused sound waves to cause discomfort and injury. Others have pointed to exposure to pesticides or other neurotoxins. And then there's the psychological explanation. Could this be a case of mass psychogenic illness, where the stress and anxiety of working in a high-pressure environment manifests as real, physical symptoms? This theory is highly controversial and, for many of the victims, deeply offensive. These are highly trained, resilient individuals, not people prone to mass hysteria. They have real, measurable physical symptoms. US intelligence agencies have also largely dismissed the psychogenic theory, with a CIA task force finding that it's unlikely to be the sole cause for the majority of cases they reviewed. They believe a foreign actor is likely responsible for at least some of the incidents. So who would be behind such an attack? The finger has often been pointed at Russia. They have a known history of using unconventional tactics and are known to have researched directed energy technology for decades. During the Cold War, the Soviets famously bombarded the US Embassy in Moscow with low-level microwaves in an operation codenamed the Moscow Signal. While the intent and effects of that operation are still debated, it shows a long-standing interest in this type of technology. However, there is no definitive proof linking Russia or any other country to the Havana Syndrome cases. It remains a suspicion, a plausible motive without concrete evidence. The human cost of this mystery is immense. For the people affected, the consequences have been life-altering. Some have been forced to retire from careers they loved. They struggle with chronic pain, cognitive fog, and a constant sense of being unwell. Imagine dedicating your life to serving your country abroad, only to be struck down by an invisible enemy, and then having to fight for recognition and proper medical care. One former national security official described the experience as a form of torture. He was at home in the US with his child when he was hit by a piercing sound that felt like his head was going to explode. He continues to suffer from severe headaches and cognitive issues years later. His story, and many others like it, highlight the very real and lasting damage that has been inflicted. In response, the US government has stepped up its efforts. The Havana Act was passed in 2021 to provide financial support and medical care to those affected. The CIA, State Department, and Pentagon have all created task forces to investigate the incidents and to better protect their personnel. They're redeveloping new sensors to detect unusual energy signals and creating new protocols for what to do if an incident occurs. Personnel are now told to get off the X, to physically move out of the area if they experience strange symptoms, and to report it immediately. But despite all these efforts, the mystery is far from solved. In early 2022, a CIA interim report found no evidence of a sustained global campaign by a hostile state. They suggested that many cases could be explained by pre-existing medical conditions or environmental factors. This conclusion was met with frustration and anger from many victims who felt their experiences were being dismissed. However, the intelligence community also stressed that the investigation is ongoing and that they have ruled out the possibility that a foreign power is responsible for a subset of the most severe cases. The saga of Havana Syndrome is a modern-day spy thriller playing out in real life. It sits at the intersection of medicine, technology, and geopolitics. It's a story about a mysterious illness, a potential secret weapon, and the profound human impact on the diplomats and spies on the front lines. Is it a new form of warfare? A series of unfortunate, unrelated medical events amplified by anxiety? Or something else we haven't even considered? Years after the first diplomat in Cuba felt that strange pressure in his head, we still don't have the definitive answer. The victims continue to search for healing, and the world's intelligence agencies continue to search for a ghost. This invisible threat has changed the landscape of modern espionage, proving that the most dangerous weapons aren't always the ones you can see. The search for the truth continues. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating and unsettling as I did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. See you next time.